double the action, double the chaos, because we've got a sprint season opener. Welcome to the loading screen for Spa-Francorchamps. We're loading in for season 5. We've had 2 pre-season races, Bahrain and Hungary over the past 2 weeks, and now we're getting to the big stuff. 15 races over the rest of the year, 4 of which being a sprint, and this is the very first one. My name is Casper, happy to be along with you as always. This is for Tier 1, we've got 14 drivers at the moment. If you do happen to want to watch Tier 2, please tick through to Sam's channel, XX Sambox8X, and you'll be able to watch Tier 2 there. I think somebody might have readied up a little early, because we're already having a countdown. I think, though, everything is A-OK. No, I thought we were really quickly getting into it, which would have been a little bit of a surprise. Now, remember, it is double one-shot qualifying for a sprint weekend, unfortunately, because that's how this game works. We're on board with Ozzy V. I'm going to call him Ozzy. As he comes now down through Eau Rouge, through the compression, up to the top, over the top of Radion now as well. Big DRS straight here as well. Sort of the major overtaking opportunity around here is through into Les Combes, which is the right-left chicane here at 5 and 6. No, 6 and 7 even, because Malmedy, that right-hander, is turn 8. And then into the hairpin at Bruxelles, third place. The Fizz leads midway through Sector 1. The Jackie X curve, turn 10. Careful with the gravel on the exit, placed for the 24 Hours of Spa motorbike race. That came back, I believe, in 22, I think, might have been 23. And then into Piff Path, right, left chicane, the Fania chicane, as some people like to call it. I call it Piff Path because it's also not quite an official name, but it's a funny name. And funny is brilliant. Through the curve, Paul Frere, much more open is the gravel trap through here. Now it is flat out all the way through Blanchemont into the bus stop chicane. Right, Blanchemont there. Left-hander, you go full flat through here, and then you're braking for the bus stop. Right hairpin, left hairpin, and then you're across the straight traction. Important across the line he goes into third place goes Arzi. The Fizz leads, as he has done in previous races as well. The Fizz, I believe, took the win in the Hungary pre-season race. So he starts as he needs to go on with a sprint pole position. Of course, because it is half distance, we've only got 8 laps of a sprint. You can see the results on your screen now as well. Linguini in 2nd, Ghost in 4th, Marky 5th, Luke 6th, Giattaso 7th, JP Pinto 8th, Dave in 9th place, new person to the league, welcome along. 10 for Noz, 11 for Assis, 12 for Jamie, and that's all the times that were set with Mitch and Ryan Barthez, along with Sub-Zero with 15 drivers. Those 3 having not set a time. 8-lap sprint coming your way. And if the 2 pre-season races are anything to go by, it's going to be an absolute cracker of a sprint. Don't go anywhere. Now, we expect all the drivers to be on the soft compound tyre. Because obviously it's a considerably short distance. It is only 8 laps because it is a very long circuit. It's just over 7 kilometres. In fact, it's 7.004 in terms of circuit length. I thought it was raining for a second. Goodness me. Isn't quite, thankfully. As I open up the Twitch to try and... that's Sam. I'm trying to just get the chat up. Bosh. Yes, I know Apple TV is doing whatever. Dismiss this message. There we go. Grand. Awesome. Should be getting ready to go in a couple of moments' time. I would go through championship standings at this point. However, this is again the first race, so there isn't really championship standings at all. No sound in my game. Try. When you get into the game, into the race. Ah, poor Dave. Just reading through the Discord as well. Dave's wheel it has decided to detach itself from where it was being held prisoner. So that's an inconvenience, I think, is a little bit of an understatement. But we've still got plenty of racing still to come. Should mention as well, where's the other Discord ping? Oh, it's from WR. Grand. Okay. I was just checking the Discord and I'm seeing, where the hell is this other ping? And then it's from there. Alright, cool. We're just trying to let a couple of the guys sort through technical issues. It's the first race of the season for quite a few of these guys. For people like Dave and Sub-Zero, who didn't take part in pre-season either. So we should be getting ready to go in a couple of moments' time. Let me run you through the calendar as well, because it is a tasty little calendar. Starting Spa, which is where we are now. And then next week is Qatar. Marina Bay, which I will not be here for. I will be in the Lake District, having a lovely little holiday up there with family. But I'll be back for Zandvoort, round 4, and then round 5 is Interlagos with a sprint, a week's break, and then I'll sail back for the 15th. With then Barcelona, Miami, Montreal, and Mexico. And then I believe that's a 2-week break after the 13th of October, featuring, and then we've got rounds 11 to 15. We've got a big all end to the season with Las Vegas, Shanghai, Portimao, Suzuka, and a sprint at Imola, which previous races I've seen is a very, very good one indeed. Somebody restarted, and that would be Gatsus. I'll tell you what's going to happen as we speak. We're going to restart the lobby, and we'll be back with you in a couple of moments' time, so do not go anywhere. I'm just going to fix this. I'll be right back. Well, I think we might have heard somebody say "Jesus, dude, Jesus" on stream. Welcome back. Yeah. So what's gonna happen now is we should be able to get going ever so shortly once everybody's in and all that sort of stuff. However, I'm not sure if I think it might just be just because of the sprint set. Let me see if you can see the whole list of my friends. I've got plenty. Just checking if a certain person isn't here. But I think what might happen is it would be the same grid for both. Same grid. Sorry, I'm just sorting out. Okay. So what's going to happen is we're going to have to restart once again after the sprint. So what's going to happen is we're going to have the sprint now with the grid from the sprint qualifying that we just had, other than Gaston maybe getting knocked down to the bottom for readying up early. I'm not fully sure if that's in play here. And then we're going to re-lobby once again to get the one-shot quali for the main race done and dusted. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, please let me know and I will happily explain it in a different way. I'm known for over-explaining stuff. My friends despise me for it. But we're getting ready to go, so that is, as far as I am aware, the plan for this. We'll see whether it comes to fruition. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, it does. Let's load Twitch back up so that I can actually see the chat. So we're just getting ready to go in a couple of minutes' time. I'll turn my audio down because I don't like hearing myself back. And the wheel is clamped and the audio is back and everybody is in play exactly where they should be, which is always a brilliant thing to hear. Waiting to load into the circuit. 19 corners around here. Big old challenge. Of course, it's the longest actual circuit in terms of distance. That's why it's only 44 laps in the main race, 22 in a half distance, which is what we're doing. Because most of the circuits have 50, 60, sometimes even upwards of 70. In the case of places like Zandvoort, well, Monaco's a different story. Like Zandvoort, like Monaco. I think Hockenheim was close to 70 as well. I know I think it had like 66 or something like that. So it is a pretty short lap. As we've got slightly less cloudy conditions in comparison to what we had earlier on, before the technical gremlins and the early ready up and all of that was in play. But we've got 15 drivers, which is more than we had for pre-season, which is always a benefit in itself, as we get ready to get going for the first actual race of the season. And we've got formation laps in play as well. I'm never fully sure. I think someone readied up early again. I think we're getting into it and going. Looks to be. Have a look at tyres. Okay, so we've got a good variety here. Again, I'm just making sure. I think somebody early readied up again, which is not ideal. But you know, we'll make it work. I'm sure. Interesting tyre strategies if things go ahead as they are now. Most on the softs, however, a couple have opted for the mediums, the Fizz being the highest of which, including also Ghost in 4th place, and James Sub-Zero and Mitch in that trio at the very bottom of the grid. I think we are going ahead with it, though. There's nothing in Discord that's saying we're not. So, you know, it's going to be interesting as well with these guys not having setups, proper setups at least in play either. Going to be interesting to see who can do the best on the default setup. But we've got the formation lap almost coming to the end now. 15 cars, 15,000 horsepower coming up to the line now. Lots more runoff on Spa than in previous editions as well, which is always a benefit. There's a couple of cars that are lined up due to incidents and all other manner of stuff on the formation lap. There's RZ in disqualifying as well, as we're actually getting ready to go. The first actual racing action here for PGS on a Sunday night. 8 laps of a sprint coming your way. The lights are on. And they're out for Season 5. Ryan Barther's got drive-through for a jump start, as there's already big change of position. Luke Bailey's had a shocker of one, as here comes Linguini to try and make a move around the outside. It's side-by-side as well with the Mercedes and the Haas of RZ and Ghost, as there's a Sauber, that'll be Assis, that's gone very far down the inside. It's still too wide, heading into Eau Rouge. Linguini takes the lead just before that second corner on the circuit, as now we're going down the Kemmel Straight for the first time. Here comes Ghost, we're on board with that Mercedes as he goes past. He's almost getting past again. Is the Fizz by even more cars behind him. There's McLaren, there's a Ferrari. There's also Gattuso, who's gone off track now as well, losing position to Dave, who himself goes off track and gets passed by Jay Pinto, who did very, very well last season and will be hoping to improve on his results in this new game. Of course, this is the first game, the first season on this new game, as we come through into Poo-On for the first time, and is Linguini, goes to the Fissure 1, 2, 3, RZ in 4th, Markey in 5th, Gattuso 6th, and there's Jay Pinto, Dave the Scrub, Mitch, and then the 2 URT Kick Salbers with Noz and Assis in 10th and 11th. Jamie in 12th, Sub-Zero in 13th. Ryan Barthez still with the drive-through penalty to serve, so he's not going to be picking up any points in this sprint. Luke Bailey with the shocker of start in 15th place. Meanwhile, we're on board with Ghost behind him, the Fizz, RZ and Markey, all hungry for a position as they come through Blanchimont again. No hint of a lift coming through here. DRS is going to be active after the first lap now as well. As there's a change of position for fourth place. Marquis goes ahead of Arzi. A little bit of contact in the middle of that bus stop chicane as well. We could be seeing a lot of stuff coming through now into turn 1, 2 wide as well with Gattuso and Arzi. The Ferrari going down the inside to try and make the move. He does exactly that, and he's still going to have DRS regardless because Marquis is right ahead. The only person that won't in this top train of 9 is going to be Linguini, who is in the lead at this point in time. But around here, being in the lead, especially with a Camel straight, that's not exactly an advantage. Let's go on board with the Fizz, who was on pole position and led for a substantial part of the first sector, is now watching as they go side by side. Contact! There they both go! Linguini and Ghost, the two guys that were gunning for the lead, are now out of play for it, and out side by side Dave the Scrub and Arzi for 5th and 6th. But the two people that were gunning for the lead in the early portions of this race are now both down and out. Still, technically, one of them is within the points-paying positions. However, realistically, a win? No way. Also, unlikely points now for Noz as well. He's had a big old spin on the exit of Jackie X curve. In fact, he has to take the motorbike runoff. In fact, the motorbike circuit takes a slightly tighter turn through that turn 10, or turn 9 even. But what a second lap we've got. There's a lot of people still technically within DRS range, as Sub-Zero also gets past Luke Bailey. That's for 12th place, but again in the sprint, not really worth any points. Top 8 get points in the sprint, top 10 get points in the race. Yes, we use standard points for F1. For anybody who happens to be wondering, as we come into the bus stop for the second time. Dave the Scrub on board with. Back end loses it. Opportunity now for Mitch as well. He gets past. He could lose more than just one position as well. He filters in behind to get the slipstream and try to pick up the pace. And he managed to at least defend from Ghost. He's very much Mercedes Alpine, of course. I've heard rumours recently that they could be picking up Mercedes engines as early as 2025. Don't quite know how true that is, but it's going to be interesting if it does, because of course Renault is the manufacturer and the big funder behind the team. Because Alpine are sort of the sports wing of Renault. Gone into the Camel for the third time. We're already almost halfway through the race. Luke Bailey's left the session. We'll drag him in a second. Jamie and Linguini going side by side for 9th and 10th. Jamie, a brilliant move on the Ferrari. I'm just going to try and get Luke in. Where is he? There he is. There we go. Screen will brighten up in just a second as the game invite screen goes away, and there we go. RZ picks up the first penalty of the season, first track limits penalty of the season, with a 3-second there. Of course, multiple warnings doesn't always mean track limits. On the curbs through pit path. Great move. Luke Bailey is back in play as well. He's currently 13th, having a shocker of a race. Of course, don't forget, we're going to have to re-lobby after this, so setups can be hopefully added ahead of the second one-shot qualifying session. We're on board with Ghost, who's got a much better drive out of Kerpel Frere through Blanchemont, taking a slightly wider line, giving Dave the advantage. But as they break into the bus stop, he's looking for a move, he's locking up his tyres, and he's lost the battle at least for now. But is he going to win the war? Still right behind him. He's got the DRS from, all the way from the Haas in 5th place, but unable to make a move into Lassour's turn 1. Or can he? Has he had a much better exit? Yes, he has. Dave going a little bit deep into that first corner, but a little bit more speed again from that Alpine. That Alpine looks to be a little bit better on the speed. Has got ahead and will stay in 7th place. He's also got a change for the lead. Marquis and the Fizz 1st and 2nd. Into Lake Com, turns 5 and 6. Marquis takes the lead for the first time in this race. Again, let me try and bring Luke back. If you all just give me a second. Bosh, there we go. Simple as that. We're back underway. We're almost halfway now. Marquis, the Fizz, Gattuso, you 1, 2, 3. J Pinto 4, Mitch 5, RZ 6th. As there's we sort of got 3 trains are growing along. So we've got this train here into Pouon. Ahead of Dave the Scrub goes Ghost, but Ghost goes off the track, has to give it back, and he is back ahead into Piff Path. A little bit of contact as well from the Alpine, nudging him through. The right-left chicane, that is at Puon. So that is 7th place for Ghost, but we've got sort of a lead quartet. We've got a quartet for 5th, and we've got a trio for 9th as well. 12th down, they've sort of split apart a little bit. But we've got sort of 3 different quartets, and Jamie getting past Linguini as well in the trio. So that is Jamie back in the lead of this whole little arrangement. But of course, there's still more cars ahead. In fact, the next car ahead for them is 4 seconds. It's a big old gap to make up, but it's not doable. Let's put it that way. In fact, Linguini's going to fight right back into the source. Thinks about it, thinks better of it though. Let's jump back to the lead, where these two are actually splitting off really from Gattuso and J Pinto as they take the battle of the lead into their own hands. Here's the Fizz on board with the AMR car as he's closing, he's looking, he's got the battery as well. He's going to go down the inside of Lake Com here on lap 5, past halfway now. I think he might have clipped track limits there. But that is the lead taken back by the Fizz. So 1st place, 2nd place has swapped into Lake Com. There's also been a change for 9th and 10th. Once again, as we go side by side into the Brussels hairpin. And that is a brilliant move by Ghost. He's trying to catch his teammate now, Mitch, for 5th place. Sub-Zero picks up 3 seconds for track limits. But pardon me, it's not often that you get to see a move into the Brussels hairpin, but my God, was that a good one. And another place you don't have to see a move is Piff Path, but twice in a row have we seen a move in this race. Dave the Scrub loses the back end on exit though, as he overtakes coming into it, and to be fair, what a save by Dave, but regardless, he hasn't been able to keep the position despite saving the car from going full 360. And he stays in 8th place. Jamie also getting ahead of Linguini, but that's for the battle for 9th. Technically not in the points. The top 2 quartets will get points. First to 4th and 5th to 8th. In the style of 8 down to 1 is how the points works through here. 3 to go as they cross the line through the first corner here at Spa. Opportunity begging for Linguini, tries not to lose the back end. Assis is again also dropped back a little bit, so he's not really in this battle trio. It's more like a duo at this point in the race. And Ghost and Mitch have also swapped places. They've split off from RZ, the man who actually did the early starts for this race, as a matter of fact. So we've got 2.5 to go now, and again it's still this battle in the lead here. They've closed up now, have Gattuso and G Pinto, 3rd and 4th. Well, pardon me, I just got a little bit, I had a drink and it felt like a little bit of it went into my nose, which isn't particularly, ideal. Drink now, not in the nose, but besides that fact, anyway, let's go. We're still on board with this for the lead. Remember, the points differences aren't major. It is only the sprint, so it is only 8 points to 7 points to 6 points to 5 points, but of course you want to be on the podium, you want to be on that top step to start the season right. You have the momentum right through the first set of 5 races. Before we get into the first of the 2 mid-season breaks. We're looking on through the shoulder cam for Gattuso, as we've got 2 to go now, as they head down into turn 1 for the penultimate time in this race. A little deep though goes Gattuso. Opportunity for J Pinto to try and catch up as they head now down the straight towards Eau Rouge. Of course, big old section. Ghost and Mitch aren't exactly far off this either. They could be picking off a couple of points paying positions from these two if they're wise about it. Mitch gets ahead as well, so he's going to really close up to the back of J Pinto and co, as the Scrub also gets ahead of RZ, and both Alpines make a move because Linguini's ahead of Jamie for 9th and 10th. So them pair constantly swapping positions. A little bit of a lock-up though for Mitch. He's lost a position now to Ghost as well. Don't know if that's intentional and the teammates are trying to swap places to play the DRS a little bit, but it is working. They are closing. It is getting mighty tighty as they head in towards Piff Path. The right and then the left. Pretty speedy chicane, as there's, I think that's Assis who loses it through Puon, but he will be back on track, and he is back on track. He's losing a point right now to Sub-Zero. That's down towards Piff Path again. Sorry, the Fanya chicane, as certain people call it. But I like Piff Path. It just sounds more fun, doesn't it? Racing needs to be a little bit more fun. The corner names need to be a little bit more fun in some cases, as we've got 7 kilometers to the end of the race now, and the leader has sort of, again, he's sort of pulling away by just about sort of 5-6 tenths as they come into La Source, and that's just about usually enough to have the space into they come. But it's going to be interesting to see what can happen here. We're on board with the McLaren. He's closing. Where does he go? To the left he goes. He can't really fight it, can the Fizz? And Marky takes the lead for the second time in this race. Mitch and Go swap places as well again, but I don't think they're catching up to this lead pack. The Fizz is now just under a second ahead of Marky. Now the question is, where will the AMR car go to win this race? To what lengths will he attempt to move, really? If you wanted to do it off the straight, probably into Piff Path, because he's really, really close. There's an opportunity into Piff Path, especially if Marky can makes it wrong. But he's made it pretty alright, to his credit. I think even slightly better than what the Aston Martin was able to do. As now they come through that right-left chicane for the final time in this sprint. There's 22 more laps still to come after this in a full-distance race. Of course, we've still got qualifying for that race to go. Jamie into 8th place now as well. So Jamie's got points-paying positions partly because of an Assis mistake. As we're side-by-side here for the lead, for the win this, for the first win of the season. It's not a full race, I'm fully aware, but it's still a win nonetheless. The Fizz has got that pole position pace, and now into the bus stop, he's going ultra defensive. Who's going to come out a winner? It's a drag to the line now. It looks to be Fizz. I think he's got it. The Aston Martin does win the first sprint and the first race of the season. Marky second, Gattuso third, Pinto fourth, Ghost in fifth, Mitch in sixth, Ozzy in seventh. Well, actually, Ozzy picked up 3 seconds right at the end there, so he's in 8th. Linguini up to 7th place. Jamie down to 10th, as Dave goes up to 9th on his PGS debut. But what an ending to the race. What a start to this race as well. Brilliant stuff, as per usual, being served up on a silver platter by PGS. Always worth a watch. Some Fizz fans in the chat as well. Hello, I can see you all. I've got the chat open on my phone as well. Always a pleasure to see fans in the chat. As we're going to have the standings ever so shortly. Mitch, the game's driver of the day, he's done pretty well, but I think the move from Fizz right at the death was probably the move of the race. Well, there's your weekend results. There's the sprint results as well. The Fizz, Marky, Gattuso, J Pinto, Ghost, Mitch, Linguini, and Ozzy are all picking up points here for the sprint. What's going to happen now is, because of the early start that we had, we're going to re-lobby, and we're going to get going in a couple of minutes' time for one-shot qualifying for the main race. Do not go anywhere. I will hopefully see you in a couple of minutes. Please stay, because if you enjoyed that first half, you're definitely going to enjoy this second half of the stream. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Well, speaking of the game not fully functioning as expected, thought that was just me. I think for myself and a few other drivers, I'm just checking the Discord, the game crashed. Myself sadly included. There we go. Oh, goodness me. Right, we should hopefully be back soon. Ozzy in the Discord can't wait until somebody else buys the license. I'm hoping to God that somebody else does buy the license, because though actually not with all due respect to EA, it's a crap game. It is genuinely awful in terms of all this sort of stuff. Grand. Okay. Well, Valkyrie bot are dominating the midfield, as we kind of are expected to see. Unfortunately, he doesn't do much better. I do think that he is worth a little bit more than what lets on. I do think that he is sadly, I think, on his way out. But I do hope that he is at least going to have fun while going out, because it does seem to be that, you know, Sauber won't need or want him, and I don't see him going anywhere else, realistically. So I don't know. I'm just hoping that whatever he does afterwards, he enjoys. I think he's gonna. I imagine he's probably gonna go into some like the cycling stuff with his wife. Build on that, possibly even go into like sports cars maybe. I'd love to see Bottas do something like Le Mans. That would be a hell of an event. Bottas doing like Le Mans, or take the Kimi route and go rallying as well, because he is finished. I think he's finished. Yeah, that would be a very, very good run. But yeah, a lot of people's game is crashing. I'm gonna check Twitter actually, because I want to I want to see how prolific this issue really is. F124. F124 crash. I'm curious. Ah, no. Yeah, there's not really much here, sadly. It might just be that not enough people are. What's the word? Not very many people are actually tweeting about it, because it's just a simple game crash, but it's still really, really irritating. However, let's get to the topic of the race itself. There we go. One-shot quali, 22 laps. Should be about another 50 minutes, so assuming we get started pretty quickly, we could all wrap up by about 20 to 10, and then I can go spoons. No, I'm joking. But you know, couple of big questions. People like Luke Baylor, what can he do when he gets a good start? We did see him doing pretty well in pre-season, so he's going to be hoping to continue that. Ghost and I think it was Linguini colliding turn 5 and 6, lap 2. Can they continue, well, past that second lap with the possibility of a victory? Can the Fizz pick up another pole position and the first proper race win of the season? There's a lot of questions that are already going to be asked. Dave, can he actually keep his car on track this time? Not joking. But you know, it is going to be really, really interesting to see how these guys behave when there's much more length and much more points on the line, of course. There we go. Ready up, guys. Good luck. No one ready up. I hope to God that nobody actually readies up early. Please, we beg. Jesus Christ. Well, what do you know? If it happens, it happens. We can all simply just have a laugh about it and Bob's your uncle. Seconds until we're on track. Again, it is just a reminder, because of the sprint format for this season is one-shot quali, half-distance sprint, which is 8 laps around here. We've already done that. And now we're going to have another one-shot quali, and we're going to have half-distance race, which again around here is 22 laps. Hope that makes sense. So it's a format that works. I've tested it with 100% league, and it works with the one-shot qualifying format. It's pretty fun. So you know, it's going to be really, really interesting. Of course, it's only one lap. So you make a mistake, you go slightly deep into La Source, you go a little bit too wide through Piff Path, you screw up your braking. You screw up your braking at the bus stop at the end. That is your only lap that you get. The stakes are a little bit higher in qualifying when it's one shot, because otherwise, because otherwise you don't really get to set another lap. You could knock down 2, 3, 5, or even disqualify your lap entirely. So, you know, there's various different things that can happen once all of that comes into play. And it's always an interesting thing to see how people react. Because some people take 2, 3 laps to get into gear, whereas other people can just do one and done. Bam, bam, bam. Bob's your uncle, all sorted. So you know, it's going to be interesting. I mean, we saw the Fizz set about a 10th of a pole position, so we'll see if that can be replicated here, or is somebody else going to take that pole position? That's going to be interesting. Remember, they now do have 9 laps plus formation lap at full pelt under their belt, so they do know this circuit a little bit. However, again, it's a different lobby, so nobody really knows how. It's going to feel strange saying this. Nobody really knows how this lobby is going to feel. It might feel a little bit different compared to what they're used to feeling. And we're actually... Okay, we're getting ready to go. We've got 30 seconds until qualifying gets underway here for the main race of round 1. First of 4 sprint weekends this. We've already had a sprint. The Fizz won that with a brilliant move on Markey. coming into Piff Paff. And now we're going to see if we can replicate something like that here in Belgium. We're underway. And who are we on board with? We're looking on with RZ. He came in, I think, third in qualifying last time. Let's look on with Ghost coming down towards Eau Rouge, of course, possibly the most iconic bit of racetrack ever. You're going down, and there's a massive incline, and you're still going up the hill at this point. A 31.3 on the end of the first sector at the end of the Camel straight, and there's his lap invalidated already. That's how simple things can get through it. Ozzy in to turn 8, the Brussels hairpin. Linguini currently in the lead, but Ozzy's just taken that. The Fizz climbing up the standings now as well, losing the back end slightly is the Haas. And now we come into Pouon, lift ever so slightly, go down to just shy of 170 miles an hour. Just as you pass that first apex, you go back on full throttle for 5th gear chicane here at Piff Paff. And then we're down towards Stavolo and Curve 4 Freddy. The Scrubs lap has been invalidated, as has Ghost definitely as well. I think J. Pinto and Sub-Zero also not going to be setting a time. Linguini in 4th place. He's just been taken over by the man who's just overtaken, but Ozzy's also hit track limits coming through Blanchimont, as now into the bus stop. The Fizz has taken the lead. Is he going to take pole position? I think he might. It's not a big gap, but he does. Linguini takes second, Markey third. We've had quite a few drivers eliminated from that session, as Linguini takes second place. As the Fizz, Linguini, Markey and Mitch 1, 2, 3 and 4. Gaffer so 5. Luke Bailey 6, Ryan 7, Assis in 8th, Noz in 9th. And that's all the times that have been set in the second qualifying session for the main race. Dave, Ozzy, Sub-Zero, Ghost, Jamie, and I think it's G Pinto, yeah, not setting a time due to hitting track limits or something or other. 22 more laps of racing are coming ever so shortly. It's going to be really interesting. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be good. Oh, Dave, how do you get second and still have half your battery? Spot does favour a lower downforce setup because there's a lot of long straights. However, that second sector, the middle sector itself, is really twisty. You do need a lot of downforce, so it is sort of a battle of setups in there as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see how it all pans out at the start of this race. RZ. Alright, I'm waiting for anyone else to ready up. I'm never pressing it anymore. I think he's learnt his lesson, don't you? Yeah, Linguini have 0 wing, rear wing, so I have a lot of straight line speed. Yeah, figured. Yeah, you've got sort of the Camel straight. You can really flatline a Rouge. Might be a bit risky because you haven't got much downforce. Your car's unsteady. But you know, you've got the straights out of La Source up through a Rouge through Camel. There's a bit of a straight through into Piff Paff on the exit of Pouon. Okay, everybody's saying let's go have a good one. Good luck, everybody. There's Luke, the league owner as well. But you've got out of curve Paul Frere and Stavolo up through into Blanchimont as well. You've got that, so it's really, really sort of, you know, you want to go low downforce. You can't, however, go too low. Which is a big thing. Linguini, I'm sliding in every corner. Also, I practice a lot to be comfortable with this setup. That's fair enough. I mean, if you practice, you practice. So, as long as you've got some front wings, you've got a little bit of stability. The back end can flutter all you like, as long as you can get past it and make it work. It's all that matters. And second place, I would argue, that's making it work. As there's Dave the Scrub trying to get as far ahead as he can, which is on the mediums. You'd think somebody like Noz would be trying to do that. So he's got a little bit more pace coming through, but unfortunately for him, that's not quite the case. Again, softs and mediums pretty much across the board, other than Noz on the hards. He's in 9th place. The hards are going to be really interesting to tyre to watch. It is a long circuit. The tyres do get chewed up a little bit. Try saying that 5 times. There's a collision between Gattuso and Arzi into on the first sector. That'll be partly. I don't know how the hell did that even happen. They're 5th and 11th. You're meant to stay in position, but regardless, it's not up to me to sort of, you know, make it work. Ooh, the Alpines almost come into contact as well. In fact, they do, because both of them are now out of the formation lap as well. A lot of problems being presented in here already. Drop something somewhere. So I'm just checking a couple of things. There we go. Grand. Awesome. Yes. We're getting into the start of the race as well. So this is going to be the first proper race of the season, and I cannot wait to see what happens here. 22 laps at Spa, arguably the most picturesque circuit of the lot. You've got the Ardennes Forest in the background. You're going up, down, left, right, and straight down the middle. The elevation on this circuit is absolutely insane. And for a season opener, there's not very much better candidates. Also, the circuit is much revered by everybody. The 5 lights are on again here for the main race this time. And 2 cars have got drive-through penalties. That's both for Assis and Dave, as the Fizz gets a much better start this time, as does Luke Bailey. He's only dropped down to 7. This 3 wide into Lac Source, and there we go. What the heck has happened there? Ryan Barth has retired from the session. Virtual safety car in play. Luke Bailey's got 10 seconds for a collision with Marquis. I think that was partly initiated by Linguini, along with Gattuso, and I think that was Marquis going 3 wide, 2 of which were going off track. On the exit of Las Ours. We've got a full safety car now as well, because safety car is on track. It doesn't say full safety car, but you can see the yellow blob coming up to the first DRS zone on the map. And that is the safety car. So everybody's going to be catching up. I'm imagining there's going to be a lot of pit callers. All good stuff. Lap 1 of 22, and we very much had a that Belgium race in the 90s, I think, where there was chaos in the exit of La Source. Not quite as far along the circuit, but it was pretty chaotic nonetheless. The Fizz, Mitch, and Gattuso lead the pack. Big fallers, Linguini down 7, Markey down 8. They were heavily involved in that incident. Yeah, Gattuso is up 2. He was also brought into that. I think he was the only one that didn't go off track. We've also got Assis down 4, Noz down 4. There's loads of cars going to be coming into the pit lane. The Fizz comes in, Mitch comes in, Gattuso comes in, and I imagine a couple of the guys from the back as well involved in that incident will be coming in. I should mention, in the first race we had no damage turned on for some reason. I think it must have been a mistake on Luke's part, but now damage is back in play. As safety car does come to pick the rest of the pack up. Luke Bailey leads for the first time in this event tonight, ahead of RZ, Jamie, and Sub-Zero. That's all the guys that didn't come into the pit lane. The first man that did, it was the Fizz, and then everybody else lower than him was in the pit lane for that early set of stops. Imagine hard tyres for the lot of them. So started on softs, maybe started on mediums, now hoping to use hards for at least a good chunk of the rest of the race, if not the entirety of it, if they can pull it out, to prevent, well, you've used 2 different tyres already, so it's not a bad strategy to play, to be fair. Well, that was an interesting start, I think. A lot happened. But it was all really initially started by a good couple of incidents. The going wide at turn 1 by 2 of our 4 top guys. Also a little bit of a mistake on the exit of La Source as well for someone that went really deep down the inside. All manner of different things were being done at the start of this race. I think we're going to be going for another lap under safety car, so we're going to have 20 to go, and we have a lap 1, lap 1, turn 1 safety car, which is pretty common around here, and surprisingly enough, only 1 retirement. I figured there'd be a little bit more considering all the damage that we saw. There could very easily be a few cars which have picked up some sort of permanent damage, possibly something like rear wing, floor, side pod. Could have picked up a good few bits of damage. I mean, you can see the tyre tracks just on the left side and also on the actual tarmac itself. You can just see them there. It's just trying to show you as much of it as we can. Actually, we'll have a good view through here as well. You can see it just on the gravel there. That's all the goings off, the spins on the exit as well. Plenty happening on the start of this race here in Spa. Lap 3 of 22, round 1 sprint done. Round 1 race started in absolute chaos. Lap 1, turn 1, massive incident. Caused partly by going off track on the gravel, but also just general turn 1. I mean, La Source itself is very difficult as RZ made a mistake. Oh no! Oh, you'd think the safety car, you don't lose positions, and yet he's gone from second to last. Oh, that will hurt. That will hurt. Ouch. Oh my word. That's very, very painful. That hurts. That really does hurt. The thing is, you're not meant to be going quickly under safety car, right? So you'd think, oh, you'll be fine. But no, that's not the case, clearly. And the thing is, it was on entry into the corner as well. So probably a little bit too much left, right, zigzag action. And not quite as much as keeping your eyes on the tyre temps and actually then going too high. But we're on board with Jamie. Luke Bailey in first place, Jamie in second. Sub-Zero very far behind in third. When is Luke going to go? Is he going to go in the middle, or is he going to wait as late as he can? I do think he's gone there as well. It's a very slow set corner, so it's difficult to tell. But it is Luke Bailey, Jamie, Sub-Zero, J Pinto, Linguini, your top five. So we go green for the first time in this race. We're on board with the front row sitter into turn one. I thought he was going to go for it into that first corner. I know it says lap 4 safety car, but we're not under safety car. As up to the top of the hill we go once again. Opportunity for Linguini. He's going to have the draft as well. Double draft from the Williams ahead and a double ahead of him as well. He's going to box J Pinto into the left side, but he wasn't quite able to. Two Williams now go side by side. So Zero goes wide, and around the outside goes Linguini, who even with low wings has actually made that work. That rear end is not stable at all, and yet he's managed to make it work. That is Markey off track again through Lecom, so he's lost a couple of positions. Someone who I thought was, you know, a shot at a winner. He's down in 13th place after making a mistake at the end of the Kemmel Straight. As we come down into Pith Path for the fourth time in this race. Only the first time under full green conditions. Because remember, the safety car was called on the as guys were coming up through a rouge. So, you know, this might be the first time that we're going for green flag conditions again on this lobby. As a little wide goes Sub-Zero coming through curve Paul Fred, and Fizz is right in the rear wing, and he's going down the inside into turn 17. I think he's going to get ahead well before Blanchimont. Does he? No, he doesn't. They still go side by side. Has he forced him off track? No, not quite. I can't really see anything from this camera angle. I can see stuff from this one, though, as he goes round the outside and then the inside into the bus stop. Brilliant move by the Fizz to cement that position. Can Sub-Zero fight back? No, not quite this time. Into turn one. He's given it a go. Loses the back end and the front wing. And that is, again, another very unfortunate position to lose it, because you've got to go all the way around the rest of the lap with half a front wing. And that is going to lose you time. That is going to lose you positions. And also, someone else is going to lose positions is Luke Bailey, as Jamie takes the lead. Down the Kemmel Straight here on lap 5, 18 to go in Belgium. I can't say it's Barcelona. It's B, same thing. As Ghost makes 1, Ghost makes 2. Can he? Not quite. Very aggressive inside line from Mitch. Not from Gatter, so Mitch is closing up to that Mercedes ahead of him with the Ferrari in between. Can he use that inside line? No, not quite. A little bit more speed carried through by Gattuso as they come through the Brussels hairpin, through the Jackie X curve, and then into 10-11 at Pouon. A very fast left-hander through here. In a normal car, you really, really feel the G's through there. But we're not in a normal car. We're not even in a car. This is sim racing. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who happen to be unaware, this isn't actual F1. Why would it be streamed on Twitch? They'd make more money streaming it on Amazon. Amazon itself, not Twitch, which yes, is owned by Amazon, but, you know, moot point. Ozzy on 10th place, trying to get further points in 9th at the moment. Or is he? Yes, he is. He's side by side coming up towards Blanchimont. Is he going to get that move done beforehand? Yes, he is. Forces Noz in the slipstream and now up towards the bus stop. Can he retaliate? Looks for it, thankfully, for his own sake. Saves it and doesn't go for it. So, Noz in 10th place. Dave into the pits. Why have I got a cold all of a sudden? I honestly don't know. Why today of all days, eh? We're on board with Mitch now as he comes down the hill into turn 2, 3 and 4 at the top of the hill. Kink at 5 on the just before the Kemmel straight, and now we're trying to close down to Gatter, so he's got move 1 done. Has Mitch, can Ozzy get 1 done as well? No, he can't. He has to stay in 9th place at this point in time. He's dropped Noz by 1.5 seconds over the past couple of corners since he got past, and Noz struggling. But those hard tyres do seem to really be a good race tyre. A couple of hard runners have gone up in considerable positions. The Fizz is up to 5th place now as well. He was in 7th or 8th, I think, once the safety car had restarted. So it's not exactly a bad run from him at this point in time. The soft runners, however, peeling away from the mediums early on. But, again, the race is long. Plenty can happen, and often does. Right at the curbs is Gattuso coming through. Curveball, Frere and Stavilo. An opportunity now for Ozzy to go around the outside. Here he goes. It was a very late defensive move by Gattuso to try and take the inside line, but it was in vain because he lost that position anyway, purely on speed and on traction. He's using the inside line, loses the back end, picks up 3 seconds for track limits, and is now forced off track by Gattuso. Bit of contact there. Right rear to front left wing and tyre as well, to his credit. But that's I'm not so sure on that one. I'm not so sure on that one, if I'm honest. But you know, there's still plenty of time, plenty of space to make an overtake. Linguini in 3rd place. Back end hopping mad. You can just about see it. We'll watch him coming through Lake Comp. How does he manage to steer the car? There's not very much adjustments. He had a lot of practice with this setup as well, he claims. So, you know, if he's had plenty of setup and he's comfortable, then it's a pretty good position to be in. As they come through turn 9 towards the 10th corner on this circuit at Pouan, we're actually probably past a third of the way into this race. Jamie, Luke Bailey, Linguini are 1, 2, 3. Linguini, the first car on the medium since lap 1. So you'd think he's in a much better position at this point in time. However, we've still got pit stops to come from these guys. Do they go hards? Do they go mediums? Do they go mediums around about lap 10 and go for a 1-stop? It's going to be interesting to see what their tyre strategies are saying. Here's Linguini, better traction out curveball Frere. Down towards Blanchimont. I think Luke Bailey manages to cut the corner ever so slightly, but he still makes it. But Linguini offers a big old fight, and Luke Bailey can't particularly do very much about it. So that is 3rd place for Luke Bailey. Linguini, fastest lap as well, 46.089. He's going to be in the slipstream as well for Jamie, as we're on board with the Fizz, highest hard tyre runner so far, either from the start or pitted before the safety car. I think this is going to be a much better opportunity for a move. We're looking on with 4th and 5th at this point in time. The Fizz go around the outside. He doesn't need to pit anymore, but he needs to nurse those tyres. He's going to have them for 21 some laps. So it's going to be a really difficult position to be in. Noz picks up 3 seconds for track limits. Ozzy's got to 7th place as well. There's no change at the top. Jamie Linguini, Luke Bailey still your 1, 2, 3 after the pass through or just before Blanchimont. Into curve Jackie X, of course, very, very famous Belgian motorist. Won Le Mans 5 times, I do believe. So, you know, worthy man to have a corner named after him. But of course, I'm just thinking to places like Snetterton, I think. Or I could very well be wrong. Snetterton, the chicane the left-right chicane at the end of that back straight, I think is named after Martin Brundle, but I could be wrong. So, you know, yes, Martin Brundle was a very good driver and is a top-notch commentator in his own right, but it's an unusual choice to have a corner named after him, especially when you've got actual world champions that don't think have quite got a corner, especially in the UK as far as I'm aware. Anyway, Aussie in the 45 for the first time, fastest lap set on the medium tyres. We're on board with Linguini, trying to chase after Jamie as we're on, I think it's 14 to go. As he go to the right-hand side now, he's going to make the move. Linguini takes lead, and Italy roars in its raptures as he does that. The last Italian team won at Spa was 2019. We all know what happened then. Charles Leclerc did it after an unfortunate event the day prior. Into Puon he goes, and you now thinking, especially for these soft tyre runners, do I pit now for a new set of tyres? Probably. Those softs aren't going to necessarily last much longer, especially when you've got a certain Aston Martin right on your tail. Yes, the Fizz is within striking distance. He could very easily make a move again, coming through Blanchimont. He's got the pace as well. He's looking down the inside. Luke is going to take the wide line. He's almost off track, taking as many limits as he can with track limits as he comes up towards the bus stop. Does he make the move there? No, he doesn't. He waits for the DRS, which to be fair, it's actually a decent bit before there. There's a little bit of contact as well between these pair. And now we're going side by side up towards last source. Who's going to have the advantage? It is going to be Luke Bailey who forces down the inside. But can the Fizz get a better traction zone? I think just about. Yes, he does. He might have had to be held up a little bit. But he's going to have the traction. However, he has given DRS away to Luke Bailey. So it very much does depend on how good of a traction he can get up through here. And he gets a brilliant wave. Can he get past? Yes, he can. He yells in the third sector through the bus stop. I think that might be for Noz. He must have made a mistake on the inside. But Luke Bailey retakes third place off of the Fizz. 13 to go here in Spa, as Gattuso also goes up to 8th place coming through Les Combes. And we can breathe ever so slightly. Or can we? The Fizz still right on the back of Luke Bailey, the McLaren ahead of him. Ooh, problem on traction here. We go around the outside of Stavelot into turn 15. Ooh. Nicely done through 14 even. Goodness me. Not often you see a move there, but a struggle on traction from the McLaren gives him all the impetus he needs to actually get past. Brilliant stuff. Possible contender for move of the season already, I'd argue. Luke Bailey in the pits. I'd imagine onto a medium tyre. Although could be using the hards. The hards do seem to be showing a lot of pace penalty also being served by Luke himself. Or is it? Yeah, it is. Okay. I think that was that 10 seconds possibly. I don't think it was. Sub-Zero 3 seconds for track limits as he comes now out of the inside of here. He's not being told off for not keeping it within the white lines. Also, for anybody interested, the building on the left-hand side of your screen now is the endurance pit lane. For when Spa does the 24-hour race around here, there's like 60 GT cars, and the main pit lane that you see for the race only holds, I think, about 38, which is, ironically, exactly enough for the WEC championship to run there. So, you know, it's going to be, it always is chocker in terms of cars through that pit lane. And when you've got something like a safety car and everybody needs to pit, there's 60 damn cars coming through. You're almost never going to be able to find a space to actually get out, because otherwise somebody else will have taken it. As JV comes into the pit lane now as well, so these pair will be promoted to 4th and 5th. Ghost and RZ, 11 to go here in this race. We're past halfway. Linguini still leads from the Fizz, but it's a 2.5 gap in seconds. And closing, the Fizz on those hard tyres does seem to have a big old advantage. However, for Luke Bailey, the question is, he is going to need to pit at... he may need to pit at some point, because again, he is on the hards. He did pit for him on the first safety car. I think that might have been a very good move in terms of strategy. It's going to be interesting to see. On board with 4th and 5th, Ghost in the Mercedes ahead of him, Ozzy in the Haas, 4th place and 5th place, irrespectively. Luke Bailey ahead of Dave the Scrub as well. That's down towards Lake Cobb. That's for 9th and 10th, both going wide through Pouon. Very easy to do, and will definitely put your track limit warnings at problems. Noz has come back. I don't think I unfortunately have Noz with our mic. I'm not fully sure. I can only apologise in that instance. See what Mitch and Gattuso can do as well for 7th and 8th. Hello, Sam. How was Tier 2? Sam, of course, the Tier 2 commentator, must have just finished. Yeah, our race is only halfway, mate. I'll explain possibly later exactly why, but yeah, I might mention it as well on stream. We'll see. We'll see how the way of the race goes at this point in time. J Pinto and Ozzy in the pit lane. There goes J Pinto, and there goes Ozzy. You can see the black crew on there. Pits for the soft tyre. 10 laps for softs. Ooh, I'm not sure. Ooh, very, very close between these pairs still as they come out of the pit lane. Who has the tyre advantage? Well, both are on the set of softs, and they're both brand new. So it's going to be really, really interesting. Gattuso gets ahead of Mitch, up to the top of Lecombe. Well, 8 lap sprint was calm for the most part, but the end of the main race was interesting. Well, gorgeous. Well, our 8 lap sprint was absolute chaos. At the start and at the end, had a lovely, relatively calm middle. And if you... oh, goodness me. That was a brave move into Malmedy there at turn 7. But yeah, crazy start, crazy finish, relatively calm in the middle. If we ignore the copious amount of restarts that we had to do because somebody readied up early for the sprint race. So we had to restart for the sprint race and then restart again for one-shot qualifying because game being game. And now lap 1 was a typical lap 1, where with cars going all over the place, chaos coming through Eau Rouge. Linguini in the pit lane now as well, so Fizz does take the lead. But lap 1, turn 1, being lap 1, turn 1 here at Spa, is always absolute chaos, and it has delivered once again. And now we're sort of in a relatively calm period at this point in the race. However, there is still 9 laps to go. We are in single digits now. And we come down, now we're on board with Mitch Linguini putting on a new set of soft tyres, 9 laps to the end. Could be done. We did see Luke Bailey pull out 11. So it is very much doable. Question is, can Linguini catch up to the back of the Fizz, who is going to be, by the end of this, on 20 lap old hards? or even 21 laps in terms of distance covered. And now I have seen, I call it the Jerry, but I have seen a person that did more than half the race on a brand new set, on a singular set of softs. So it is very much, pardon me, possible to sort of extend the gap, as there's a change in for 12th place as well, as Marky gets ahead of Sub-Zero for 12th and 13th. Of course, no points for 11th down, however. It's still positions which, come the end of the season, could very easily be important in terms of countback. Maybe not for Marky, because we used to see Marky being quite high up at the top. But still, again, positions is positions, and if you can possibly close up to Assis and Dave in 11th and maybe even 10th if he's lucky, could be points on the first race as well. Starting lap 15 of 22, 8 to go. We're on board with Mitch coming down towards turn 1. Gattuso picks up 3 seconds for track limits, and we saw exactly why. Going deep into the apex of La Source, turn 1 up through Eau Rouge, 2, 3, and then 4 with Radion into the 5th corner, and here we go. Mitch going around the outside now. He's got the position ahead of Gattuso. He filters into the slipstream, and that is 3rd place. Double Mercedes podium. It's a fully Mercedes powered podium, with the Fizz, of course, Aston Martin being powered by the Germans. Or should I say the Brits? I don't know, it's in Brackley. But it's a German team, so take it how you want through there. Right, another close battle as well is Jamie and Ozzy, 6th and 7th. Coming through to 1, 10 and 11 again. You lift ever so slightly on entry, and then you take your way through the rest of the circuit. Through Curveball Frere now up to the back up to the top of the hill. That's the lowest point on the circuit. Marky picks up 3 seconds. The Fizz starts 7 to go. He still leads ahead of the 2 Mercedes. Gattuso in 4th, Linguini in 5th. Question is again, can Linguini really catch up, get at least himself a podium, if not possibly the race win? That's going to be the very important question. Jamie in 6th, Ozzy in 7th, and Jay Pinto in 8th. You can see them just into the singular shot there. Luke Bailey in 9th, Dave in 10th, Assis in 11th, Marky in 12th, Sub-Zero in 13th, and Noz in 14th place. It's going to be really interesting to see who leads that battle. As here we go for 3rd place. Bit of a squibble as well with Mitch, as Gattuso gets back ahead. He has got that 3 seconds time penalty, so he does need to bear that in mind and pull away as far as he can over the next 7 laps. But regardless, it's still a move, and it's still done, at least for now. Needs to pull out probably about half a second a lap and get out of that DRS as soon as he damn well can. Because otherwise, well, it's not a position you want to be in, let's be honest, as that is that Mitch who's lost the game? I think it went into the pause menu ever so briefly, and he's lost time. He's lost the position as well to Linguini. That is for 4th place overall. And that is a very easy pickup of a position. I don't think he expected it to be that easy to the Italian. Oh, I assume he's Italian. Unless he really likes Linguini, which, Linguini, my favourite kind of passer, if I'm honest. Sub-Zero making a bit of a mistake again through Malmedy at the end of the very, very far end of the Camel Straight. You've got Lecombe 5 and 6 and Malmedy at 7. But that is a much easier move than anticipated for Linguini. Question is, can he get past and stay past Gattuso to get himself a podium position as we start 6 to go? Don't forget, this is round 1. We've still got 14 more rounds to go over the next 18 weeks, of course. We've got, I think it's 18, maybe 17. We've got 3 weeks of a break, so I don't know if you want to count an extra week on top of that for some reason, including this one. So be sure to obviously subscribe, follow, all that sort of stuff if you would like to see the rest, because believe me, you want to see the rest. It's going to be damn good. Linguini getting past as well. He's got himself a podium position so far. Can he catch up to Ghost? It's a 4.5 second gap to Ghost, and then a 6 second gap to the Fizz. However, also another question to bear in mind, Luke Bailey took those soft 11 laps. Can he take them anywhere near as far? Because he'll need to take them another 5 laps after this one, and now they're, I think, 5 laps on, so we'll need 9-10 laps on them by the end of it. It's going to be really, again, I say it's going to be really interesting, but it's going to be interesting to see if he can keep that tyre wear under control and still make up pace on Ghost. See if he can get a second place. He started second. Overall, not bad. Everything's sort of strung out now. Nobody's really within a second of each other as positions are being sorted. Well, just as I say that, Jamie's dropping down like a stone, and that's partly because of a mistake for Arzi, as that gap intensifies ever so slightly. Arzi still in 8th place with Bailey 9th. Dave the Scrub in 10th place, just outside of the points paying positions. Five to go here in Spa-Francorchamps. In the Ardennes Forest. What was deemed impenetrable in World War II, well, just before it. Well, they've built an absolutely massive racetrack through here. So, you know. Not exactly the best comparison that I've made ever, but, you know. Could be worse. Locking up ever so slightly into the Brussels hairpin at turn 9. Then up towards turn 10 now as well. The double apex left-hander. This is the closest battle on track. Gattuso and Midge. This is for top 5. It's only a 2 points difference. However, again, 2 points we've seen in a couple of battles towards the back end of the season can be absolutely everything. So it's always worth going for a position, especially if you can, especially in this league. Christ. It's absolute chaos incarnate sometimes. Dave the Scrub picks up 3 seconds for track limits. Coming out of... where is Dave? That'll probably be through Pouon. Into bus stop we go again. 4 to go here in Belgium. You can see that is a Ghost, that's Linguini, and then you've got Gattuso and Mitch behind them. The gap between Linguini and Ghost is closing, to be fair, but not closing by nearly enough. He's still got 4 laps to make a move, as long as he can get into that DRS zone even. It's always going to be a much easier option than to do it without a DRS. And Ozzy picks up 3 seconds again, I think, for track limits. Let's have a look at the total penalties. Most of these have 3, other than Gattuso and Ozzy, who have 6. So Linguini's got 3, Jay Pinto's got 3. Linguini's actually made it hard for himself as well, because he's secured 3rd place at this point in time. But he still need to get past Ghost and stay ahead of him, which is always difficult. Luke Bailey did the Scrub, Marquis, Sub-Zero and Noz have all got 3 second time penalty. Fizz leads here in Spa. And there's your tyre situation at this point in time. Ghost and the Fizz doing very well to try and maintain those hard tyres as long as they damn well can. Starting lap 20, so only 3 to go. Only 21 kilometers, only 21 kilometers left in this race. I know it's a very long distance. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's not very far off, pardon me, a half marathon. Or it might even be exactly that. So, you know, a half marathon completed in about 5 minutes by these guys. Is pretty spectacular, all things considered. On board with Mitch for 4th place. Here we go. He'd pick up the point of position anyway, based on penalties, but it's always good to have it done on the road instead of on penalties. You don't feel quite as happy with yourself if that's the case. Also change for 8th place as Luke Bailey gets past Arzi. Can Gattuso get back past Mitch? Or does he have to stay in 5th place? I think he'll have 5th place secured. I think depends maybe how close Jamie is to Gattuso's back end, but I think he'll have a P5 relatively fine. If not, then he'll have P6. BJ Pinder's got 3 seconds as well. So it's going to be really interesting. On board with Gattuso on the hard tyres. He's closing to Mitch. Those hard tyres seem to be very effective, and they are exactly that. It's still 2 abreast through Blanchimont. He's holding the inside line. He's taking it ever so slightly wide, and he's got 4th place at this point in time. But we've still got 2 to go here in Belgium. It's going to be really close, I think, long term. As now down into turn 1 we go again, this time for the penultimate time in the main race, as Fizz is currently going over the top of the hill, and Ghost and Linguini are having a bit of a tussle for 2nd and 3rd. There's not going to be any more safety cars in this race, because how this game works is they don't give you safety cars in the last 2 laps of the race. Linguini ahead of Ghost, or is he? Ghost goes deep, switch back, nicely done. Now to cement 2nd, he needs to pull out a gap. 3 seconds is what he needs, because that's his current penalty. He's got 3rd down. Can he get to 4th? Going to be the big old question. He's got 12-ish, 12, 11 kilometers left to do it. He needs to go away at a massive pace. Stay away from the DRS and just hope and damn well pray at this point. Because the gap is not growing anywhere near what he needs it to be. Nowhere near the pace that he needs it to be. He needs to be sort of a sector nearly. Speaking of sectors, the second one's gone yellow a little bit, as there's the Haas of Arzi again making a little bit of a mistake. That's coming through turn 9 at Jackie X. As we're on board with Ghost. He's still within the DRS to his credit of Linguini. As we're starting the final lap of the race in just a couple of seconds. In fact, we're about to start it now. With 7 kilometers left to go in this race. Linguini, it's going to be difficult for him to pick up 2nd place, you know. I know he has got that straight line speed, but it's through the corners where he struggles, and that's really where you pick up the most time. Struggles on exit, does Ghost. And Linguini isn't going to have DRS, Ghost is. Regardless of whether you go for a low drag or a high drag setup, that is an advantage that the other person does not have, and that's going to help. Pardon me, coming down the Camel, it's a big old straight. I think it's just over a kilometre here in Spa. Can he make a move? No, he can't. He closes to within 2/10, but no room at the inn for Linguini's space for Ghost. Now he just has to hope and pray that Ghost makes a mistake so that he can take 2nd place. Other small changes, I think Gattuso has 6th place. And yeah, he'll have 6th place. Noz retired from the race for failure to use all the tie compounds. Although I think most of that they were under AI though, so I don't know if that's his fault or not. But the leader is coming through. He won the sprint in magnificent fashion. Won the race, or at least is coming to win the race in not quite so magnificent fashion, but still brilliant nonetheless. You can see him coming out the final corner now. Here he comes up to the line, and the Fizz wins the sprint and now the race here at PGS. Linguini's going to come second on the line, but Ghost is going to take it on penalties. And then Gattuso in 4th, Ghost in 3rd. See where Gattuso falls actually. How low he does go. He's in 5th. Does he drop to 6th? Yes, he does, and no further. J Pinto's got enough of a penalty to give him that position. Does Luke Bailey get ahead? No, he doesn't. He's got 6 seconds, but that's not going to change things because Ozzy is coming now towards the final corner. He's got much bigger of a gap. Let's have a quick look as well at big movers. Oh yeah, Ghost starting in 13th place after having not set a time into 2nd place. Damn well done. Also, shout for Linguini. Alternate tie strategy. Probably needed a couple more laps to make it work. But regardless, it was a brave decision and I fully respect him for it. So that is my drivers of the day. Or at least of this race. Anyway. Arzi, the man who caused all the problems that we had at the very, very start of this race. And that is it for the first race. We hope you enjoyed. The Fizz takes a double win here in Spa. We're back next week in Kota for a ride around the rodeo. But in the meantime, as we see, ooh, hell of a backflip. What backflip? Yeah, that's a backflip. It's going backwards. I'm always usually a little. I'm usually a little confused on that aspect. But we will be back in 7 days' time with a standard short qualifying 50% race around Kota. We hope you enjoyed, and we will see you all very soon. Take care. Bye bye.